so we're working for a sheet. It says Chemistry Review Problems, Chapter 2. There's a lot of different versions of this that exist in my folders. So for the video watching audience later, we're hoping 45.00 is number 1. So if 45.00 is not number 1 on your sheet, video watcher someday, you're not watching the right video. But answers across the top row is going to go 4, 3, 2, 4, 8. Answer across the bottom row goes 4, 4, 1, 2, 5. Does anybody need help with any of those? 10. The test that we're doing tomorrow, I think has those, but I don't think there were 10 of them on that review sheet. I think there were just a couple. 11 to 30 is a skill that makes the test tomorrow, but there won't be 20 of these, but this gets you quite a lot of repetition. So coming across the top row, I have 5.00, and I didn't rewrite my number. I just tacked on a 0.00. I'm fine if you manage it that way. A 2.30, a 0.00230, a 0.568, and then in the 10,000, I drew a bar over the 0 that's in the hundreds place, meaning the second of the zeros. Does anybody need help with any of those 5 moves? 200,000, I put a bar again on the second 0 that's in the thousands place. 50, I tacked on a 0.0. 123,000 is the way I rounded the third one. I tacked on 2 bonus zeros after the 9, so it's 0.00900. And then I did a 0.000226. Anybody need help on that line of 5? Third line is just a 123 rounded, a 12.3, a 1.23, a 0.00123, and then the 8 I expanded into 8.00. Something there. Last row, 34.0, a 23-point surprising 6, but it is a 6 by doing science rounding rules, not math rounding rules. Then a 23.8 by anybody's rounding rules, and another 23.8 by anybody's rounding rules, and then an 8770 kind of whole number. Anybody need anything up to 30 or need a re-explanation of the science rounding rule? Last one?
Yeah.
8770.
Wouldn't that be 8760?
No, that's only for a 5 with no help. That 5 has help. So like the second one of that line, 23.65 stays 6 because the 5 alone isn't enough to do anything. But if that 23.65 were 23.65, literally any number to help it, then it goes up in standard math form. Anybody else need help to 30 or want to reanalyze of that weird science rounding rule that's only on, has to be an even place you're rounding to, a 5, and then no help after the 5 with any other numbers. Okay. 31 to 40, the add, I'm going to go straight down the add, subtract column. We'd have to round these all to the same place and then get them going. It's 89.47, 55,000 with no punctuation or bars or anything like that, 23,040, 63.9, and a 30,000 with a bar on the very first 0 in the thousands place. Does anybody need add subtract help as to know why to round, where to round, how to math?
Where do you round?
It's based on the place values. So like for the second one down, for example, it looks like I rounded that to the thousands place. So you have to round the other one to the thousands place so they match zeros.
Okay.
That second, the third one in the line, like I rounded it to have a single 0, so you have to round to have a single 0.
Okay.
Fourth one down, I cut it off in the 10th place in one of the numbers, so
Yeah.
you have to cut the other number off in the 10th place. You have to make the places
Yeah.
match with rounding. Anybody else need an add subtract guidance? Okay, multiply you round last, and you do it by counting. And on most of these you counted to 3, but sometimes you counted to 2. So these all have 2 or 3 digit answers. There's a 2840, 148, a 2800, a 1.09, and a 9900. Again, the test you're doing, I don't think it had 5 of each column. I think it had like 1 of each. I think it had 1 add, subtract, and 1 multiply, divide. So it's a little bit of over practicing in a sense right now on this skill. Anything you need to 40? In the long term, the most important skill is 11 to 30, making there be 3. Because like we eventually went to in physics, a standard where we just always put 3, we are going to head back to that standard again for people that have been through physics. So the make there be 3 skill from 11 to 30 is the most important long-term skill, but for tomorrow, all of the skills matter. 41, we're hoping for 9.45 times 10 to a positive 8. The 1 to its right is 2.65 times 10 to a negative 7. Question on that pair. Button pushing can get you 43 to 46 handled. It's 8.78 times 10 to a positive 5. To the right of that is 2.54 times 10 to a 10. The square root question is 2.07 times 10 to a 6. The fifth power question is 6.96 times 10 to a 24. Anything to there? Then from here to the end, I feel like that's pretty much the quantity and type of what the test looked like, if I'm remembering that review right from 2 days ago. I feel like this is a pretty good match now. The rest of this has been sort of over practicing. 47 metric life, I have 0.0250. I need that last 0 to have a third significant digit, and then throw on there a meters at the end. To the right of that, I have 3,600,000 meters, and I have a bar on the first 0. The bottom left corner, I have a 0.00005 O's, then a 300 hectometer. If that's too many O's for you, 3.00 times 10 to the negative 6 would also work. Then the last question is 7, 330, and 9 more zeros, nanometers. Or if that's too many zeros for your taste, 7.33 does the 3 sig figs times 10 to the 12. You could either do this with common sense, just sliding the decimal and counting your metric prefix zeros counts, or if you prefer, you do dimensional analysis, you kind of do your own style. My style on those is just moving stuff. Something there. Okay, flip into the back. Let me come down the one column. I have 460 kilometers with the bar on the 0. 23,700 meters, no punctuation or bars or anything. 3,450 millimeters. Then you need to memorize an equation and make sure you memorize the equation. On the yesterday vocab test, some people messed up the Fahrenheit Kelvin, or Fahrenheit Celsius and the Celsius Kelvin equations. So if the equation is a little muffed in your brain, then that's going to be a rough section tomorrow. But the 77 Celsius answer is 171 degrees Fahrenheit. The Kelvin answer is 290 with a bar on the 0 degrees Celsius. And then let's clean up that column. If there is anything from that column of 5, anybody need anything on that column of 5? Quiet group today. Okay, down the other column of 5, there's a 0.00430 meters. I needed that last O for the third significant digit. Similar to the next answer is 0.00230 meters. Then a 580 centimeter with a bar on the 0. Then a 2.22 degrees Celsius. And then a 1010 Kelvin. Kelvin doesn't have a degree sign on it. Helpful tip for tomorrow, right before you turn in the test, you might want to just count digits on that section. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and make sure I didn't get you with digit counting on that part of the test. Anything on that group of 5? 61 to the end, I went dimensional analysis the whole way. If you don't go dimensional analysis, that's all right. The directions on this, whenever the year that I created this for the first time, I was forcing them into dimensional analysis because it is something you are gonna have to just deal with, that it has to happen. But some of these you could absolutely just math your way out of it without dimensional analysis, but you do what you need to do, but you do need to, like, at some point give in and do some dimensional analysis this year. There'll be no way around that. 61, I did 507,000 inches. If you like scientific notation, 5.07 times 10 to the 5th inches. 62, also big, I did it as 126 million seconds, but if you like scientific notation, 1.26 times 10 to the 8th seconds. 63 is 250 yards, throw a bar on the 0 to be a third digit. 64 is 11,800 inches. 65 is 8.23 meters. 66 is 286 milliliters. 67 is 53.8 grams. 68 is 176 milliliters. 69 is 0.381 kilograms. And the last one is 0.742 liters. Another helpful test tip, right before you turn your test in, make sure every answer has a unit on it. People that took physics last year probably have memories of seeing red little U's all over some of their tests, where every time you forget a unit, I take a half a point. They might remember seeing a lot of red R's for rounding things funny and losing half points. A lot of red SF's because the significant figure count was funny. Those are like my secret codes that aren't secret that I just throw on grading paper. 61 to 70, can I help? Anything? I hope you're smart and not shy. Because that was quiet, other than like 1 or 2 questions. Nothing? Alright, shutting it down.